Hello everybody, welcome back to From Rhythm to Algorithm, keeping up right where we left off, no introduction. So sensorality is based, and so previously I alluded to or directly stated that somehow, I forget what the exact iteration was, but there's something to do, again, three prime numbers, one general, there's three type, the concept of an element is three. When we say dimensionality, we're talking about the concept of an element. So it's three anything. And then you have the concept of numbers, numerals that we've already numerals or numerics that we've already covered. And so then you have specific to 3, 5, and 7. And 3 is the dimensionality we live in. That's the first element of a sequence. And then the next one is 5. And the difference between 3 and 5 is 2. And so you have a stability of 2. The difference between the first thing and the next thing is 2. And then say again, the only difference of prime numbers is 2. And so that's numerically an extremely poignant result. Because remember, any prime number after 7 is an iterated number. Literally the next one would be 11 and it's 1, 1. It's not a prime number. A prime is factorless. And an iteration is a factor. And so but we did something where it was like, again, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, right? The first 7 letters or 8 letters. So how do we apply those different numeric things to linguistics? Again, I do it instinctually, but somehow we certainly have to get like the first 5 letters or something. Again, I don't know how to articulate it formally, but sensorality is based, spelled B-A-C-E-D, because everybody knows little b, the based god, but this is spelled B-A-C-E-D. And then we see those are all the 5 letters, A, B, C, D, and E, just not in the same order. So then you have, it's a really cool result, but you have 2, right? B is the second letter, D is the 4th letter. So those aren't prime numbers, those are even numbers. And so if we just label it again, those elementality, each of those spaces is just one element, the most general word you can say for a thing. So then you have even, and then the ACE, ace, is perfect, and it's 1, 3, 5. Again, representing like what? What is that representing? But again, there's the difference of 2, because remember, 1's not a prime number, but we've also proven 2 is not a prime number. But I've done so much more in number fields that's not relevant. My point is why is it sequential with 1, 3, and 5? 2 is the difference. 2 and 4 are even numbers. They kind of cancel out or something. But then you also see the symmetry with the B and the D. Again, the lowercase b and the lowercase d are like, again, flipped. And so it's just like, what is going on? And then again, because I don't know, it's just like flipped or something. And then so 1, 3, and 5, but why is it not 3, 5, and 7? So that's why I'm thinking these, just labeling A, B, C, D, and E with numbers is representing elementality as opposed to magnitude or even ordinality. So you just have one element, 2 elements, and 3 elements, which is again are solidifying elementality for a new definition. Sorry, it's hard for me to articulate this stuff formally because it's so new. But acing perfects, and so now we chop off that E again and we make it a verb. We just add ing, right? Ace as a noun. I mean, it's like a card, but one, it kind of means one. But ace, and then we just make it acing. Acing perfects, and then we can just, again, take out that 1, 3, A being the first letter, and then C being the third. So then you just have 1, 3, ing. And so we're reducing it to some sort of empirical, physical, numeric thing. I don't know how to articulate this part well. But then I just have sensorality is basing again. So we do that same type of thing where we just take out the 2 and the 1 for B and the A, because again, 1, 2, and our counting system for any indigenous tribe is 1, 2, and then many. So we're like connecting that stuff again now too. But then we just have abbing, right? If you have abs, you spell ABS. So if you're abbing, ABING, right? We have 1, 2, ing. So that's like a word or something, and then abbing and basing, but sensorality is abbing, and abbing kind of expands to abide, right? Abbing, abide, Sensorality abides, abiding is adherent. Sensorality enlists, and then enlist is whatever, it's one-to-one with the letter and the amount of elements to listen. So how do those two work? Right, because we have listen, then we just take that en again from the back and just move it to the front. And we're trying to do that with sensorality. But right, SCN, we already have that like kind of in there. And then sorality, remember that's why I said it was going to be probably the defining syllability of 5, and then ended in ings, like the final thing. I don't know. Well, I do know, but I literally have to derive and prove every step before. Like, I literally have to construct the words to prove the physical things that nobody's ever done before. And so I have to do so much derivation to make so many steps. What is the relationship between vibration and concentration? So now getting away, we just did some derivation on our axiom. We're kind of getting away from the fundamental physics aspects, which is all still completely right, but we're trying to get to the final reduced form. So what is the relationship between vibration and concentration? Right, if we have a frequency, or if you have a vibration, it generates a frequency, and you put the Chalamdi plates, or there's an Indian dude name, and you put a plate on there and drive a frequency, or make it vibrate at a given frequency, it'll form concentration or resonance patterns. And so the sand, little granules of sand, will clump up, and you kind of get your different geometries that you see with planets, or with galaxies, or with little pieces of sand on a vibrating plate. And so the relationship between vibration and concentration is vibration concentrates some places, right? Your Lagrange points in orbital motion, but what is that doing when you're vibrating a plate at a given frequency, and it concentrates something some places, and then it gets it not concentrated other places? So we would have to say something more poignant about that. A vibration produces a frequency. How does frequency relate to concentration? Concentration is proportional to density. Can't say anything more. But there was I don't even know where this quote comes from, but I've seen it multiple times. I think it's like a show, a movie, somewhere in pop culture. But there's a quote that says, some college kid got high and realized the universe is a dense vibration. Anyway, here's so-and-so with the weather. But it's true, though. Right? So this is what I'm saying, is it's like everyone has immediate access to the intuition, but it's putting these words in order, and you have to see how not intense, but how much goes into it, just to literally prove why you should flip one syllable. And so the quote is interesting to me because it's highlights a couple things where it's like you get very, very close to extremely fundamental truths, but you're a million miles away from proving them. But then also people will make it like a joke and say like, oh, Billy's saying something stupid because he smoked weed or got high and thought. Like, I still fail to see how society is ever associated with feeling good and calm to bad thing. Right? Feeling good is good. And you know when you're abusing your body and when you're not. And so it's just stupid. But not getting into the social stigma stuff. But vibration produces density. And it does. But again, how do we make that a definitive physical statement? Because if you have granules of sand laid on a plate that's vibrating, it clearly concentrates in some places and doesn't concentrate in others. So we have to make that more poignant. But definite and indefinite articles are limits, right? We talked about how, what did we say? Well, we can just derive it again, or just state it, right? If I say vibration, right, vibrationality is as general as you can be. Vibration is general, but and then you add a definite article, or an indefinite article, a vibration, right? That limits what vibration it is. It's a vibration. And then if you limit a vibration from indefinite to definite, you get the vibration, right? The Ohio State University, and their profound arrogance. But the more specific, the more limited in all contexts. And so then you can say the universe is the vibration, and everything else is speciation of that vibration. And then, but sensorality is not speciality. Sensorization does not speciate. Sensorality does not change. Sensorality is normal. Sensorality is not proliferated. Sensorality is constant. Constants don't exist. Sensorality isn't a word yet, so it doesn't exist, but it's not useful. We have to make it useful. Kind of stinks. Because I can just say all words don't exist, and they don't. Sequences of sounds do. But we do have to reduce the proof in a way that's meaningful. And guess what? People don't understand how, like, what is occurring. Like, I'm thinking through the logic of every word that is needed to establish the base description of a physical process that is accessible to everyone. But I'm using up all of the diction that exists, so there's literally no way. Like, I actually have an infinite H index. It's pretty cool. Let me try to do some science today, and then doing this shit in like 5 minutes. But I have a trivial derivation of sine and cosine. Well, we've already derived the conceptual, anything that can be described by sine, right? Sensorality, sinality is a reduced form of sensorality. Sinality. So, but it doesn't really matter. I'll get it to the next episode. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.